The last man to shoot an American president is now fighting for his freedom. John Hinckley Jr. went to a D.C. court today. He wants to be released from the mental hospital where he's been since the 1981 assassination attempt against President Ronald Reagan. Senior political reporter Scott Thuman was in the courtroom. Scott's here with Hinckley's new argument and what he has to prove. Scott?
Well, Maureen, an intriguing day of testimony over whether or not it would be safe to let John Hinckley Jr. out of St. Elizabeth's Hospital and move in with his family in Williamsburg full-time. He's currently allowed 17 days a month there. Now he wants that to be every day, and doctors at the hospital say that may be okay with them. In the 34 years since John Hinckley Jr. tried to kill President Ronald Reagan, his life has been under a constant microscope. Is he cured, as his team of lawyers and doctors suggest, or is he still a danger?
I'm worried that he'd stop taking his medication.
It's up to the judge and the courts, the federal courts, to decide, make that decision.
While his brother and sister who testified today wouldn't comment, Hinckley's lawyer argued that treatment at St. Elizabeth's Hospital has worked and, quote, there's been no dispute that in that period of time there's been not a hint of violent behavior. While spending time with his mother in Williamsburg 17 days a month, they say he volunteers at a church, paints and composes music, even has a girlfriend he met through the National Association for the Mentally Ill. Much of the arguing today about finances. Would the Hinckley family be able to support him for the rest of his life should he be released, especially considering that they're currently paying $5,000 to $10,000 a month in doctor's fees? Hinckley sat quietly and expressionless as government attorneys argued the hospital's plan isn't safe and outlined what they called deviant conduct, alleging he secretly collected photographs of an unnamed celebrity, wrote letters to Ted Bundy and Charles Manson, and sometimes lied about where he went while out by himself.
And his mother's not going to live to be 190 years old. I mean, after she goes, what happens?
If Hinckley is allowed to leave the hospital full-time, the government wants a long list of 35 stipulations and restrictions that cover how he'd be monitored and how often he'd have to see a doctor, for example. The hearings are expected to last for several days. Maureen?